Welcome to the Goodyear City Council meeting. We're excited to have you be a part of this important public process. Tonight, you will have the opportunity to address City Council on both non-agenda and agenda items. The agendas and the speaker request cards are located on the tables outside of council chambers. You must fill out a speaker card in order to address the City Council. Please hand in your completed card to the city clerk before the start of the meeting. If the meeting has already begun, please hand it to any city staff. You may also check the I do not wish to speak option on the card. This allows you to still voice your opinion on an item on the record without having to speak. Public comment on a non-agenda item will take place during the citizen comment portion of the evening. These are items that don't appear on tonight's formal agenda. The city clerk will call your name when it's time for you to speak. At that time, please approach the podium and state your name for the record. We ask that you speak clearly into the microphone. You'll have a maximum of 3 minutes, and there is a timer visible from the podium. When the light changes from green to yellow, your time is coming to an end. When the light turns red, your time is up. Note that you may also choose not to speak if other speakers before you have said what you wanted to say. Shouting, cheering, and loud noises will not be tolerated, and violators may be removed for disrupting the meeting. Goodyear City Council meetings stream live on Facebook and YouTube, and online at goodyearaz.gov. Thank you for your participation in tonight's meeting.
Call to order the regular meeting of November 4th, 2019. Please join Councilmember Pizzillo in the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Loving Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we are gathered together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that you would challenge each other to reach higher and farther to be the best we can be. We ask you to protect our men serving in uniform here and abroad and provide safe passage to all leaving this meeting. In your name, amen.
Thank you, Councilmember Pizzillo. Mayor Lord is not with us this evening, so may I have a motion and a second to excuse her?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Pizzillo, second by Councilmember Hampton. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We have one communication item tonight, and that is to recognize Goodyear resident and Eagle Scout candidate Christian Larkin, Grants and Neighborhood Services Supervisor. I said I'd introduce her as Christina P. because I wasn't going to take a stab at her last name, but I'm going to.
Okay,
Pana Itescu.
very good.
There we go.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Council. I'm very proud today to bring Goodyear resident Christian Larkin before you for some recognition. I occasionally get calls from our Human Resources Department who does Make a Difference Day, and they get volunteers coming through looking for projects. And several times I have mentioned that North Subdivisions and Historic Goodyear in the past have expressed an interest in refreshing the house numbers on their streets, and in particular in the alleys. Sometimes it's difficult for police and fire to find the right house. And it was something that the community was unable to navigate themselves. So I always would offer it up as a suggestion for a project when people were looking. And Christian had the courage and the capacity to put together a project and pull this off. He ultimately rounded up over 30 volunteers to paint house numbers on curbs and alleyways for 65 homes in historic Goodyear. And that helps make our neighborhoods safer. And it demonstrates one of Goodyear's core values, initiative, that Christian did this of his own volition. So Shane Dale from Digital Communications team put together a nice little 1-minute video we'd like to share with you.
The purpose of my Eagle Scout project was it helps with police and fire department people locate houses quicker. They don't have to search through your trees or like behind your car to find your number. They can just look at the freshly new painted curb or alley wall and just be like, bam, that's the house. It was a 2-part project. Wednesday night, we just went around hanging up all the door hangers. On the door hanger, it had, hello, my name is Christian Larkin. I'm an Eagle Scout working on my project. Write down your number and check yes or no if you need it on your curb or alley wall. And then Saturday, I had 4 groups and I gave them all roads and then like the houses on each side. And they would go down and then with a cart with all their gloves, paint. We actually got a lot of people and some of them would come out and be like, hey, could you paint my curb too? And so we did that.
When they came around to do it, obviously we said, yes, we want the numbers painted. I love it. He was a very nice young man.
I felt awesome doing this project. It was really satisfying seeing us like take off the numbers and like the background stuff after it was done. I felt special being connected to the city of Goodyear and like doing this. Yeah, I thought it was like, yeah, it was a good project.
Christian, I've asked Councilmember Pizzillo to extend some comments to you on behalf of the City Council. And then we'd like to take a photo when we're done. Councilmember Pizzillo?
Listen, congratulations on your major accomplishment, number one. But what I'm so proud about this community, and I say it time and time again, and I know at times I sound like a broken record, but what makes this not just a collection of neighborhoods, but a community is anytime we need something, we have the community step up and take responsibility. And what you guys did was fantastic. And again, that's what makes me so proud. And you and the people that you work with to do this project is the reason why we are what we are. So again, from the City Council, bottom of our heart, thank you for all you do.
Okay, so we're going to have Christian come forward. Council will come down. We'll take a photo here in the center and
That's okay. So,
okay, next item on the agenda is an appointment to the Fire Public Safety Personnel Retirement Board. The City Clerk, Darcy McCracken, will present.
I don't see you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is actually a very quick one. This is a request for council to actually accept the election that was done by the fire department to elect somebody to complete the term of Joe Hernandez. Liam Tierney did win that election, and he is here tonight for us to do any kind of swearing in. And that concludes my presentation.
Great, thanks, Darcy. May I have a motion and a second to approve the recommended appointment?
So moved.
have a motion by Councilmember Campbell, a second by Councilmember Loretano. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we'll have the city clerk call Liam Tierney to the front and administer the loyalty oath.
I've got one mic. Okay. So raise your right hand. State your name. Say I, state your name.
I, Liam Tierney,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of board member
discharge the duties of board member
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So I do affirm.
so I do affirm.
Congratulations.
Great, now is the time for citizens who would like to address the city council on any non-agenda item within the jurisdiction of the city of Goodyear. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Vice Mayor.
Great. Seeing none, we'll go to the consent agenda. Will the city clerk please read consent agenda items 3 through 5 by title only?
3, adopt ordinance number 2019-1452, amending Chapter 3 of the Goodyear City Code by adding Article 3-15 and amending Section 3-14-13, adopting term limits for boards, commissions, and committees, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances and codes of corrections, severability, and providing for an effective date. 4, adopt ordinance number 2019-1453, amending Chapter 3 Code of the City of Goodyear by adding Article 3-17, creating the City of Goodyear Council Compensation Committee, providing for corrections, severability, and an effective date. Adopt ordinance number 2019-1454, amending Chapter 3 Code of the City of Goodyear by adding Article 3-16, creating the City of Goodyear Judicial Advisory Committee, providing for corrections, severability, and an effective date. Number 5, adopt resolution number 2019-2007, declaring as a public record that certain document filed with the city clerk entitled Amendment to Chapter 26 of the Goodyear City Code, Special Events, amending sections 26-1-4, exceptions, 26-2-1, permit application and process. Adopt ordinance number 2019-1456, amending Chapter 26, Special Events of the Goodyear City Code, by amending sections 26-1-4, exceptions, 26-2-1, permit applications and processing, providing for corrections, severability, and an effective date.
Does anyone on the council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Does anyone from the public wish to remove an item? Seeing none, can I have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items numbers 3 through 5?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Kano, second by Councilmember Pizzillo. Open for council discussion. Councilmember Loretano.
I just have a question procedurally. I guess I want to know if I have to find time for another meeting. For the committees, the two committees, I don't know if they came through our subcommittee last time. I don't think they did. Do they have to then come through our subcommittee this time? I'm not quite sure.
Thank you, Lyman.
Councilmember Loretano, they both did come through your subcommittee the last time and will do so again this time.
Okay, are we just keeping the same people on it, or do we have to reappoint?
Ideally, we want to keep the same people on. I know we have one retirement that will need to be replaced on the Judicial Advisory Committee, but otherwise, our goal would be to keep the same members.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just didn't recall what happened with that, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Any other discussion? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Vice Mayor,
I'm sorry.
just to clarify, we actually did not go through this subcommittee the last time. We actually had received permission from the council because there was a short time frame on both of those committees. And we had actually taken, for at least the Council Compensation Committee, we went through the applications that we had already in our hand and contacted them until we received enough to staff the committee. And it was Lyman and I that worked with that in order to get a good enough group to go forward with that one. But moving forward, this will definitely be going through
With the others.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Are we okay to, Councilmember Loretano, you
Oh, I'm
okay to
fine.
move forward? Any other questions? Okay, great. Seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Stipp?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we have one item on the business agenda tonight, and that's to consider approving a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection at the Goodyear Airport. Lieutenant Scott Benson will present.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. We are looking for, to enter into this MOU with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, along with the Goodyear Police Department regarding our Goodyear Airport. One of the reasons this has come up is traditionally flights, international flights coming into the country that go to Goodyear Airport are scheduled, and U.S. Customs responds, and it's a scheduled event. Recently, it is brought to our attention that AirSail has entered into a contract with Boeing, which is going to increase that number of flights tremendously, because flights will be coming from all over the world. The reason that we're looking to do this and request your approval and authorize the city manager to enter into this MOU with Goodyear PD and the U.S. Customs and Border Protection is in the event an unscheduled flight arrives or is on its way here, our response time, because we're here, would be immediate, as opposed to waiting for people to come from Phoenix Airport. My understanding that these flights that come in unscheduled are far and few between. It should not tax us or our resources. So we're just looking to move forward this to formalize the process so everybody understands responsibilities.
Great, thank you. Are there any speaker cards on this item?
No, Vice Mayor.
Anyone wish to speak on the item? Seeing none, can I have a motion and a second to approve and authorize the city manager or her designee to execute a memorandum of understanding for the Goodyear Police Department to assist the U.S. Customs and Border Protection with flights to and departing from international destinations at the Goodyear Airport?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Campbell, a second by Councilmember Hampton. Open for council discussion. Councilmember Campbell?
Lieutenant Benson, I've got a question. So if the flight comes in unannounced or quickly, our officers will respond. Will you do the actual customs check, or do you just be there until they get there?
What we would do is we would respond and we would secure everything in place and wait for their arrival to turn it over accordingly.
Sure everything is what?
I'm sorry?
Would you say sure everything is what?
We would secure.
Oh, secure. I'm
you know,
so sorry.
Nobody would get off the aircraft would remain in place, and then we would wait for their response.
Okay.
And we would turn it over to them. And then if they needed any assistance, we would be there to help.
Well, we
Oh,
appreciate everything that the U.S. Customs and Border Protection folks do, and that we are able to help. I'm glad to do that as well, because we are closer, and it is here, it's in our city, and it's just our protection as well. So thank you for bringing it forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank
Thank you. Okay. This is the time for council members to have any comments, commendations, or reports on current events or requests for future items. Councilmember Pizzillo.
I want to thank the parks or whoever is responsible for putting on that Camp Go Back. I was there this weekend and brought the family out. The girls were there. I raced my daughter-in-law down the zip tie. Unfortunately, she beat me. But the girls, I think, did every one of the items there, even the axe throwing. I think Brandon saw that when they were throwing the axe. They were actually pretty good at it. But yeah, it was great. The pony rides, the zip tie, the rock climbing, they did all of it, and they just really enjoyed it. So my hope is that it turns out to be a success so you can do it again, because I know they love doing that stuff. And I even had fun down the zip tie myself. So again, kudos for whoever planned that. I know it had to be a lot of work behind the scenes to get all of those participants there at that event, and I want to thank you. You did a great job.
Great. Councilmember Hampton.
Yeah, I also enjoyed the Camp Go Back. It was a great time as well. Thank you to our award-winning Parks Department and team. Also, the Arts in the Park was also a great event as well that same day. There's a lot of things going on. It's just a festival season and time to be outside. But got a lot of feedback from citizens and also from people from outside of our city talking about how great the art in the park was as well. And then I also ran over to the Southwest Valley Young Life banquet that night as well. That was a good event also, youth mentoring and things like that. So that was a good event. Yeah, Halloween was good too. A lot of community coming together and a lot of fun watching kids have fun throughout the community and good time also. So thank you.
Councilmember Kano?
Well, we attended the groundbreaking for the Goodyear water treatment plant, and our team was wonderful. They had everything set up, and it was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed it. And it was really a milestone for us because we've been so dependent on groundwater, and this is a great historic step forward. I went to the Project Pink Luncheon on Friday, which is the Assistance in Healthcare at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. We hold this event every year to raise money to give cash grants to patients actually fighting cancer, and we give them cash grants every month, and it's a board that I enjoy sitting on. And this year was very special because we had our own cancer patients as our models for the fashion show, and it was just fabulous. And the honoree was none other than Rhonda Cagle, who is Representative Lorenzo Sierra's wife, because she is a cancer survivor, and she was honored as well. And I did too go to the Camp Go Back. The movie was wonderful. The s'mores were wonderful. I did not ride the horse or the zip line.
Did you throw an axe?
No, I did it. I didn't. I thought about it. I just had fun, but just the creativity that the Parks Department and the stadium folks came up with with the layout and everything was amazing, and parents really loved it. And several of them said to me, "I've stayed longer at this event than any other city event." Because they weren't crowded and they could see and go from one spot to another, and they really enjoyed it. The food was good, and everyone was having a great time. So thank you to everybody who did anything for that event.
Great. Councilmember Lortano?
And I'm just going to pour on the kudos there for especially for the Parks Department and the arts and culture. My daughter was at the Chalk Art in the Park because she's with the art club up in Estrella, so she was there all day. And then I went over to the Camp Go Back, and that was just absolutely cool. And I don't know what the numbers, if you guys have the numbers yet, but of course you do. And it was just really cool that the fact that some people commented that our city had events the week before for Halloween this week, and then we've got something next week. So I just think it's a really great job that the whole team's done. So thank you.
Great. Councilmember Kano?
Well, I also wanted to compliment the Goodyear Arts and Culture Commission and the Parks and Rec staff for Chalk Art in the Park. That was a great event. It always is. And from what I understand, they had such great participation from families and children that they had to continue to add more squares. And so it was a lot of fun to see the professional artists, but then also to walk through and see what the work that the kids and the family did. And there's a lot of talent out there. But what I like about it, it just sparks that interest in art that I know that there's a lot of sidewalks now being marked up on our streets because everybody's now inspired. But it's a great event. Thank you so much.
Great. I had, along with attending the surface water treatment facility groundbreaking on Friday, I had the privilege of kicking off GEO this morning. And while I was getting ready to go, it dawned on me this morning that this was the 18 years and 6 months to the day anniversary of when I went through what was formerly NEO at the time. So I shared that with the folks there this morning. It was kind of interesting. But the other thing that I thought was important for council to know is the number of folks that are in this GEO class. Most of them have come from another city, and it's a lot of it is due to obviously the staff, but our belief in hiring the best and the brightest and creating a great work environment for our employees, and it was great to be able to share that with the GO folks this morning. So that is, I think, completes that. So does the city manager? I know has something to report.
I sure do. Thank you. A number of items, in fact, and wanted to start off with a reminder that our Goodyear retail survey that launched on October 23rd is still open and accepting responses through November 22nd. We have about 1,500 surveys that have been completed, which is a great number, but we'd love to see more. So we're going to continue to keep that very socially active. The one event that no one on council yet mentioned was our household hazardous waste drop-off event, which was last Saturday, hosted by our Public Works Department. And there were 418 vehicles that came through the line to drop off hazardous waste with wait times under 5 minutes. Feedback, of course, was very positive from the residents, and want to give a special thank you to all the volunteers, staff, Goodyear PD, and VIPs for all of their assistance to have a wonderful and safe event. Chalk Art in the Park. I wanted to give you some numbers. It was the 7th annual Chalk Art, I can't say that, in the park at Goodyear Community Park. Attendance doubled from last year, with more than 1,500 people in attendance, along with 15 professional artists and 5 local high schools. The professional artists in high schools created 20 pieces of art alongside the community members who created over 150 art pieces of their own. So a special thank you to the staff and the Arts and Culture Commission for all of their work on that successful event. And then on Camp Go Back, we believe, let's see the numbers here, we had 1,200 in attendance and gave out 1,000 free s'mores. The highlights of the event, as mentioned, was the ropes course, rock climbing, obstacle course, zip line, horseback riding, axe throwing, and more, with the movie Daddy Day Camp ending the evening. So as I'd like to echo the thoughts of council, want to give a special thank you to all of the staff who worked tirelessly to make that event possible, but also to the businesses in our community for their support, including Palm Valley Pediatric Dentistry and Orthodontics, Valor Preparatory Academy, Hampton Inn, Whataburger, and Cabela's. And then last but not least, city offices are closed in observance of Veterans Day on Monday. However, trash, all of our sanitation services, including bulk pickup, emergency fire, police, and others are open, but the city offices will reopen on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, as a reminder, trash does not take a holiday. So I got to squeeze that in there. There's no other business. The next meeting will be a special meeting on November 18th, beginning at 4:30 p.m., followed by a work session at 5 p.m., followed by a regular meeting at 6 p.m. If there's no other business to discuss, this meeting is adjourned. Yes.